Hey Carson, were you there in the Valley when Pacquiao fought Bradley for the first time?
Yeah.
Remember my dad was there?
Mm-hmm.
And we all watched the fight. And my dad, when the fight was over, I mean, everybody in the room was convinced that Manny Pacquiao won the fight. And my dad, remember I kept saying bye to my dad, like I was wanting him to get on and get it. Yeah. He says he started to walk out the door, and then he heard them coming to make the announcement, and he says, "Hold on, let me see this real quick. Let me make sure everything goes the way it's supposed to. This is boxing." This is what my dad said. He said, "This is boxing, man. You know, crazy shit happens all the time, and let me see this decision." My dad turns around after knowing that Pacquiao won the fight, and still decided to just wait on the announcement. And so that's an experience that I've never forgotten. And so even last night, you were chirping, you were saying, "Yo, they gonna rob him and they gonna get the fight." Yeah. I just was so convinced that it wasn't gonna happen, right? I got reminded last night of Pacquiao-Bradley won. And I took myself right on down the steps and just sat on the steps real quick, just like my dad did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The funny second story of paints the picture. My cousin was going to pick somebody up or take somebody home, so he left at the final bell.
Oh yeah,
that's how certain he was that Pacquiao won.
Yep.
So he goes wherever, and I texted him. I said, "Yo, Bradley won."
Yeah,
and he was like, "F you!" Like he legitimately thought I was joking. He didn't. There wasn't even a fraction in his mind that thought that was going to be possible, and he was like, "Oh, that's unbelievable." But yeah, that was yesterday. Even if you just look at the numbers, I'm like, man, that's a tough decision.
AB and Willie Pep, Carson. AB and Willie Pep stand alone as the only players that went around without landing a punch. How in the world did you beat a guy like that, Shawn, who was able to win around without landing a punch?
I've been blessed a few times in my life.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've been blessed a few times in my life. Because when you see this happen, he was a hotter commodity when we fought.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I actually didn't even think about that till you just asked me, Shawn. And it's like, now I'm really counting my blessings, because I was in a position where they could have did it the same thing to me. I got knocked down in that fight. You know what I mean? And so that the same thing could have very well have happened to me.
Well, I tell you all the time, Shawn, in your fights, I'm like, Shawn, you remember when I was yelling at the Garcia fight? Yeah. We got to take it. We got to take it cleaner. Yeah, because it's just the BS of boxing.
And this dude, I felt control in the Garcia fight. And I remember, I think it was the 11th round. I come back to the corner, and you're standing on your feet telling me, "No, Shawn, go get him. Go get him. You got to take this." And I've never seen this expression in Ant's face before, but he was legit serious. Like, you got to put your foot on the gas pedal, because you do not know what's going to happen if you leave it up to the judges. And it's
ridiculous, man.
Back to boxing. It's ridiculous.
So
and I think,
go ahead.
I'm just going to say, to answer the elephant that's in the room, people want to know, like, how do you take control of this? How do you prevent this from happening? And unfortunately, the answer is right now, there's still nothing that can be done. These judges are for hire, and they come to these fights thinking that they're equipped to do the right thing. They're watching these fighters more than they should before a fight, and they come to the ring expecting one thing, and sometimes they can't turn that off. And what happens is what happened just last night.
It's also impossible, and I'll say impossible because I don't think you can, to get it down to an exact formula or science, because you're judging it. It's not basketball where if the ball goes in the hoop, it's 2 points or 3 points or one. You're looking for what you're looking for. So you can try to figure out and get more people in there that understand boxing and maybe can just see a fight for the fight. But as far as getting it to the point where we see less of this, it's tough, just because, I mean, the four of us on this could watch a fight. And we watch one round, and we could have everyone could see it differently. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. But that was I didn't watch every single round fully from beginning to end, but I didn't think he won the fight, and Ant surely didn't think he won the fight.
Hey, I was hot.
And I have a trust in Ant that I don't think Ant is going to be crazy one way or the other. So when Ant said that, I was like, yeah, if he doesn't think he won it at all,
And he started coming on, but then he lost a couple.
Roy Jones did his thing. What was that? 88 Olympics? Is it Shawn? 88 Olympics. Roy Jones is over there in Korea and loses the gold medal because he's fighting a Korean. It just is what it is. However, after that, they changed the amateur Olympic scoring system to a point system where judges have to hit a button at the same time, and you're seeing and now, like Carson explained, in terms of basketball or another sport where you see a point actually get awarded to a guy for landing a single blow, and whoever lands the most blows at the end of the fight wins the fight. I was a part of the Olympic era where they actually showed the scores around the gymnasium. So if anything foul was going on, everybody knew what was up. And even with that, there's still people who hate that scoring system, and they wanted to go back to a 10-9 scoring system. 10-9 people, they want to see something different. I mean, there just is not one collective way to score these fights right now, and it's a shame. Boxing does not benefit from things like this that happened last night. I think even if Adrian Bronner hadn't had his hand raised last night, he still would be who he is, and people would still look forward to seeing him fight. I don't think that I think at the end of the day, the fans are the ones who suffer because they're the ones left scratching their heads and saying, hey, yo, I'm not turning this sport back on anymore because this is what happens every time I tune in. And it's just, it's ridiculous, and it's a part of the sport, man. It's crazy because this is what I grew up in. And so it's like, to me, it's just another show, but it is what it is. Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.